Boredom and malaise are institutions these days. We vainly try to distract ourselves into oblivion, desperate for one more hit of dopamine to soothe the ennui that festers inside of us. Boredom, however, is nothing new. The legendary poet Charles Baudelaire diagnosed the malady almost 2 centuries ago as a peculiar state to our modern predicament, and what he had to say about boredom remains as relevant today as ever. If you're unfamiliar with Baudelaire, you can kind of think of him as the Charles Bukowski of his day and age. Arguably, the very first gritty urban poet who did not at all shy away from the harsh realities he witnessed around him, Baudelaire thumbed his nose at the overwrought cliches and numb morality that littered so much of the poetry and literature of his time. Of course, as a result, in 1857, the poet was put on trial for indecency, and his classic work, Les Fleurs du Mal, or The Flowers of Evil, was banned. That ban would not officially be lifted in France until 1949. Aside from eloquence and literary prowess, Baudelaire's dark observations and insights into the human condition from well over 100 years ago have proved quite prescient. And the poem that has stuck with me the most since I first encountered it after diving headfirst into Richard Howard's translation of The Flowers of Evil also happens to be the one that T.S. Eliot would later quote in his masterpiece, The Wasteland. It's entitled To the Reader, and it's also the very first poem in The Flowers of Evil. In the poem, Baudelaire explores the menagerie of vices and sins that confound all of us. He begins, quote, "Stupidity, delusion, selfishness, and lust torment our bodies and possess our minds, and we sustain our affable remorse the way a beggar nourishes his lice," unquote. The poet does not at all hold back in the very first stanza, and it's so intense that it's almost comical. He continues a few stanzas further down, quote, "The devil's hand directs our every move. The things we loathed become the things we love. Day by day we drop through stinking shades, quite undeterred on our descent to hell," unquote. The grim, sardonic tone almost invites a chuckle and makes you want to buy the poet a drink for his troubles. Still, he obviously has a point as we approach the crux of the poem, where Baudelaire's morbid observations seem hopelessly accurate. Quote, "But here among the scorpions and the lice, the jackals, apes and vultures, snakes and wolves, monsters that howl and growl and squeal and crawl, in all the squalid zoo of vices, one is even uglier and fouler than the rest. Although the least flamboyant of the lot, this beast would gladly undermine the earth and swallow all creation in a yawn. I speak of boredom, which, with ready tears, dreams of hangings as it puffs its pipe. Reader, you know this squeamish monster well. Hypocrite reader, my alias, my twin," unquote. That insight on boredom as the gateway to our failings cements Baudelaire both as a timeless poet and also as a moral and psychological genius of sorts. Instead of arguing that the roots of our vices and shortcomings are found in some congenital or innate spiritual defect, he points to the monotony and malaise that can inform our days as the cause. So of course we go hunting for a fix in any and all dissolute manner, desperate for a dopamine hit, or even something stronger to quell the dull ache of boredom and the dearth of meaning that seems to surround us. Oof. That was heavy. Maybe I should have that drink. So what do you think? Is Baudelaire's assessment on boredom accurate? Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks for watching.